Hey everybody, Shivi here from EnglishWise. We have very special person here, Alan, IELTS examiner, someone who understands IELTS in and out, and this video is a must watch. What we are sharing is pure gold, and I think you should not miss anything from this video. We are going to talk about how writing task 2 works, what are the requirements, how the marking happens. This is so important because a lot of you might be missing your IELTS score in writing. I am an example of that myself. I've done IELTS many times and 6.5 was an issue. Going from 6.5 to 7, 7.5, 8, you really need an expert to tell you, and there's no better person than Alan. I really believe in that. Alan, all to you. Thank you so much for being here today, and all to you. Thank you.
No, it's indeed my pleasure. Excuse me. So first of all, let's talk about what are the requirements from students for a task 2 writing. Task 2 academic writing requires a student to write at least 250 words and in a very restricted time of 40 minutes. So how do they do that? It's all about time management, because if you don't get those words complete in 40 minutes, you're going to lose marks. You're going to lose a band mark. So on this table here, an introduction, 40 to 45 words, which should take 5 minutes. Once you've planned and you know what you're writing, it should take 5 minutes. Body 1, again, approximately 100 words and 10 minutes. Body 2, same, approximately 90, 100 words and 10 minutes. That leaves the conclusion, 40 words and 5 minutes. Now, also, which I very rarely see, there's a 5-minute left over, and that's for proofreading, but very rarely do I see students proofreading. Now, writing is a conversation. It's a conversation on paper. It's not revolutionary, it's not unique, but it's very subjective, because in writing, or in task 2 writing, you ask for an opinion or an evaluation, and in that evaluation or that writing, you've got to convince or persuade the reader of your opinion, the opinion which you stated here in the introduction. All writings, theses, dissertations, they all have their own conventions, and more so specifically for task 2 writing, because of the restricted time and the amount of words that you have to write. Task 2 writing is, as we see here, it is framed in an introduction, a conclusion, and only 2 body paragraphs. Many times I see 3 body paragraphs, as is indicated on YouTube many times, but in every question there's only 2 parts to a question. Do you agree or disagree? Do we agree or disagree? What are the advantages or disadvantages? So what are the advantages or disadvantages? Okay, so how do we get a band 7 or a band 8? How do we get out of that persistent 6 or 6.5? Number 1, read the question 3 times and fully understand that question before you put pen to paper. When I give the papers out and I say open your papers and start writing now, they do that. In 10 seconds they've read, starting to write, and after about 20 seconds they're rubbing out, doing things, and then when I'm saying you've got 5 minutes left, there's indeed a panic. So remembering this, that knowledge of the topic is not the main focus of writing. Let me repeat that. Knowledge of the topic is not the main focus of the writing. Students are assessed on their ability to think, argue, analyse, and summarise their ideas in formal academic writing. That's the main part. Yeah. So now let's just briefly talk about the introduction. The introduction comes in 3 parts. Now, it's most important, and this is where a lot of people lose marks when they start off writing. An introduction is only, and I repeat, only a paraphrase of the question. Once students, they start to put further things in there, reasons why, or other things that should not be there, their marks are falling to start off with. So a paraphrase is just the question, plus if you're asked what your opinion is, do you agree or disagree, of course you must add that there. If it's a discuss, you don't put your opinion, excuse me, you don't put your opinion in the introduction, that goes into the conclusion. So making sure that is paraphrased and it is written a strong, or what I would suggest, a strong introduction, because not only does the introduction, does that herald what the task is about, but it also gives the reader, sorry, the examiner, the first impression of this student's writing. If this is a strongly written and grammatically correct introduction, I'm impressed, and I'm looking at 7s, 8s and 9s and hoping that it follows through.
So the start is really, really good, I believe.
So as long as that, hoping that follows through for the rest of the body. Right. Let's talk about paragraphs. So much for that. Paragraphs are important because this is where you get your marks. You don't get your marks in the introduction because you're paraphrasing, just rewording what is in the question. Plus, of course, your opinion. So this is where you get your band marks. It's how you can convince and persuade with your academic or your linguistic skills what you are saying. And what you are saying, here we have a topic sentence. And this is where we're getting into band 6s and 6.5 because a lot of students, they don't write a short topic sentence telling the examiner what that is about. And every topic sentence has one central idea. One central idea. I know on YouTube they say you need 1, 2 or 3 ideas to convince the reader. No, in that limited time you only have time for one idea, which is extended and supported to be convincing. That is all. Now this topic sentence, as I said, this highlights what this paragraph is about. And the structure of the paragraph is imperative. Every sentence in that body paragraph has a co-relationship with other sentences. Also, it has a co-relationship with that topic sentence. In addition to that, it has a co-relationship with the question. So you're getting coherence all the way through. It's all about one idea. Okay, so in your if the questions say what are the advantages and the disadvantages, as I said, one central idea. So this would be the advantage. This would perhaps be the disadvantage. Now remember, with one idea, the only way that you're going to get out of that band 6 into the band 7, 8 and 9 is to have a clear and well-developed position relevant to the task. When I say a clear and well-developed position, so we need a topic sentence, we need an example, we need an explanation, and we need further support. Once I get that here, topic sentence, example, explanation, further support, I'm convinced. People don't do that. They'll give one example here and then they'll give another example here without convincing me. Because as a student, you have to convince the right. Once I read that, yes, I'm convinced. Once I read that, I'm convinced. And then it's a matter of going through and assessing how well they have written that. We have the 4 elements here. We have TR, which is task response, which means did he read the question and has he responded to the 2 parts of the question? We have coherence and cohesion. Coherence means, does it make sense all the way through? Can I speed read this like this? If I've got to read and then stop, there's something wrong. Something wrong with the coherence. Then we have the coherence where we are linking sentences together and furthermore and moreover, which is most important. Then we have the vocabulary and the spelling.
Lexical resource.
Yes, and the spelling. This is all about vocabulary. And some academic expressions, some academic vocabulary. It'd be boring if it was all, yes, if I was writing to a professor, I'd use a different tone than if I was writing to somebody else. And the last one is the grammar and accuracy. So this is using a variation of different types of sentences, such as the simple, the compound, and the complex sentence. So in all of these elements here, you're showing a variety of your linguistic skills. One part I didn't mention, that was the conclusion down here. So this is our task. Now this is I said there were advantages. We only want to know the good news in a conclusion. So this point, this one single point here that was mentioned, that is re-paraphrased, and that is sent down there to the conclusion. Students don't do that. They'll say, as can be seen, there's more advantages of something. Now, the examiner then has to go and travel through both of these paragraphs to find out what that advantage was. So that's the complete what we are looking at and what we want to see. But we want to see that a clear and well-developed position presented that's relevant to the problem, relevant to the task. Once people go off on a tangent, there's a problem.
There's a problem.
Once we have, say, 400 and this person has written 250. He has written 240 words. Now, say I was going to give him a 7. I thought it was very good. I hadn't counted the words. I think, well, that's a 7. Okay. Upon reflection, I think, well, there's not quite enough words there. So, this comes down to a 5.
Oh. So you can't afford to write less than 250, not at all.
And this one here. Yeah. Said, right. What the examiner thinks from this is this person who comes from a non-English speaking country, he cannot understand writing, he can't understand English, because it says write at least 250 words. But he did not comply with that. So it's most important that you write your 250 plus words. And I do emphasise the plus words with all my years of marking. To get a band 7 or above, you're really writing in the 250s. There's not enough description. There's not enough support. So really, it averages out about, say, 270 or 280 words. And the same is the
ideal word count.
Because you've got to convince me.
Yeah.
And you've got to bring in tangible elements so that I can associate with that.
Awesome. I think that was great. I think it's a very well explained video, and you know, as Alan said, there's so much out there on YouTube which is not correct, and all these videos you see on YouTube, they are not being done by professionals. They're not being done by examiners who are actually the ones assessing your IELTS score. So it's important that you follow this. All this information and knowledge is coming from someone who has had the experience of actually assessing the real IELTS exams. As I said in the beginning of the video, this is going to be pure gold. Make sure you implement. Just to summarize again, you're spending about 5 minutes in reading the question, you're spending 5 minutes in the introduction, and then 10 in both the body and 5 for the conclusion, and then another 5 to do maybe a proofread. Yes. And then you got 4 kind of basically benchmarks on which the assessor basically assesses your writing task response, coherence and cohesion, lexical resource, and grammar. So if you want to really know more about it, if you want to go into the depth, and if you have any questions, we highly encourage you to come and see us at the Institute, meet Alan, see his class, attend his class, and you might find even more value than what we have given you in this video. But I think this is probably the most detailed, most amount of information we've shared ever in a video about the writing task. Like literally you gave them a class. So thank you so much for your time, Alan, once again. Much appreciated. Guys, if you have any questions, give us a call or send us a message. Thank you.